Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo.
Apply today and become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.
And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 251. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. Welcome to 2020, Robinson.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dan. We made it. 2020 is done and in the books. We shall never talk about it again.
Well, we're still going to be talking about 2020 sort of later in the show, but remember, yes. You're old enough to remember. I mean, you know, you were like, you were fresh out of college, right? You were fresh out of college. You were like 10 years on the job.
I remember. What do I remember, Dad? Tell me.
Y2K.
Do you not also remember Y2K?
I mean, kind of, yeah. I mean, it was 20 years ago. Yeah. And it was like, as soon as the clock hits midnight, everything's going to shut off. Terminator was real. The machines are going to turn against us.
Oh, my God.
We were either going to be in the dark or we're going to be fighting for our lives against the machines, right? Machines are going to kill us and put us into
that's what the late night
servitude. That's
what the late night infomercials were telling me. I had to buy their software, otherwise the robots would take over.
Yeah. I remember that now people dreaded. I remember people dreaded, oh my God, New Year's, let's stay in 1999. But now, remember, I mean, everybody wanted to get 2020 over with. It was like, oh my God, come on, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to New Year's. Mm-hmm. Let's hit New Year's already.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe the year is over. 2021, I think, is going to bring a lot of good things. I'll say that. Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, it's going to bring a lot of good things, but most importantly, 2021 is going to bring us a PS5 in stock everywhere. Hopefully.
Well, yeah.
That's what I want.
mean, Christmas is done, right? The fervor, the parents willing to blow a random $500 for their kids, all of that's gone, right? So people aren't going as crazy for it. Scalpers are going to be left with all these consoles. They're going to have to fire sale them, which is happening, thankfully enough. Prices are going down. And, Sony and Microsoft will be able to get a decent amount of stock into the stores, and we'll be able to go to the stores and pick them up because it's 2021.
Well, Phil Spencer said it's coming soon. Like, stock, it's coming. Like in the next couple of weeks.
It's gotta. Yeah.
I know. But how was your New Year's? How was your New Year's Eve, I should say?
New Year's was good. New Year's was good.
Did you go to Times Square? Where you're in Times Square, socially distanced, looking at a Beyonce concert or no, J-Lo concert?
J-Lo was up there.
What did you do?
Ridiculous.
What did you do?
I mean, I watched it. I watched it on TV, kind of, and it was terrible. It's always terrible. Well, I mean, you talk about Times Square. You couldn't go to Times Square proper. Like, they had the whole thing blocked off, except for maybe 100 people or so were allowed in. Right? Obviously, the guests who were up there, and maybe 1 or 2 audience members. I don't know how they necessarily did it, but normally you get there at like 8 a.m. and you wait, right? And you just sit there all day and you're miserable all day until midnight. And then the ball goes off and then everyone goes crazy and then you go home. It's the worst. It's the worst place to be in the entire world ever. Ugh.
No, I have a hack for you. I'm going to tell you what my...
You have a hack?
I got a hack for you.
Okay.
All right.
To enjoy New Year's in Times Square.
Yes, this is what I was going to do this year. Well, I should say last year. I was gonna do this, but then the zombie apocalypse happened, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Just rent a hotel room at the Marriott. Go downstairs
for like $400. For $400, yeah.
Just for the night, just $500. There you go. Just go downstairs, go outside, see the ball drop, and then run back upstairs. There you go.
Oh, right. Because it's all within that area, right? Yeah.
It's right. It's literally right there where the ball drops. You get all you gotta do is it's like looking up. It's like being in the movie theater in the front row. All you gotta do is look up once you get there.
Well,
right?
Okay. If it's like $500, right, and you can get a decent view of the whole attraction or whatever, right, and you can get like 10 to 15 friends, done, worth it, right? You rent a hotel room out, you get a bunch of alcohol, you're good to go.
All right, Dave, you need help. I'm here to help you. Listen. Dr. Love is here to help you. Okay.
Hey, I haven't seen Dr. Love for a while now.
I know he doesn't. No need to come out all the time. You know. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up. This is usually with music cues for Dr. Love. Okay. Dave, you're thinking about this all wrong. Okay. Screw your 15 friends. All right. You should be socially distancing anyway. All right. You get your sweetie, you get your honey. All right. You go downstairs, you give her a rose, you have a bottle of champagne. You guys see the ball drop. Drink some champagne, give her a kiss, go back upstairs and play some Mario Kart. I mean, come on.
That's the perfect way to end the night. All right.
There you go. I didn't say that's how the night ended.
Old School Park.
I'm not saying that's how the night ended. The night's just beginning.
I see. Welcome to Rated G Nights, folks.
There you go.
That's funny.
Well,
yeah. Honestly, that's not that bad of an idea, right?
You have the Switch, right? So you could just all you gotta do is bring the dock.
more like renting the room for the night, right?
Yes.
If it's a reasonable price, if it's less than $1,000, right, and you can get a decent spot and get a good view, it's not a bad idea. So yeah.
I totally forgot. I'll be honest. I totally forgot about New Year.
I think a lot of people did because they didn't want to get sick, right? You can't have a party or go to a party effectively.
I was just home and I was like, oh wow, it's like 11:30.
Yeah, right.
Like,
we should probably turn the TV on.
It totally slipped my mind. I watched the ball drop. It was cool, right? I mean, significantly less people. There was like little groups, little pockets of people, but I'm guessing they knew each other, right? Like if you're in like a group of 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it definitely, the streets were bare, but New Year's was somber. It was somber. I'm happy we're in 2021.
Same.
No more mention after this show because we're going to mention it a bunch of times of 2020.
Right. And I guess. Anytime we look back at the games from last year for any reason, but after that,
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're gonna have a great show this week. First show of 2021. All right, we're gonna look back at Generation 8, and we're gonna we'll give our 2021 predictions. Okay, but before we get into all of that, let's begin with our game of the year for 2020. We had to give it this this wasn't last year. We were kind of at odds, sort of, and
it's a knockdown drag out fight. Yeah, drag out fight. Do we want to go over the nominees real quick? Just run them down real quick.
Sure. All right. So look, I nominated Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is a fantastic game. Definitely, I'm debating if I want to go back and 100% that game. Final Fantasy VII Remake. God, I mean, 2020 was crazy because hell froze over. I nominated a Final Fantasy game for Game of the Year, and Ghost of Tsushima. So you nominated. You want to go over? You want me?
No, I got it. Yeah. So I did the Last of Us Part 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Ooh, first time a Call of Duty's been nominated for Game of the Year.
Hey man, it is fantastic. I'll talk a little bit about that in just a sec. But Streets of Rage 4, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remake, and Doom Eternal.
Game of the century, right?
That's right, Game of the century, baby.
And we shouldn't have Game of the Year for the next 100 years because Tony Hawk.
I mean, it just wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. You put it up against Tony Hawk. What's going to win? Tony Hawk. You make a new Half-Life game? Nah, Tony Hawk. Right? Doom? Nah, Tony Hawk.
You fix Cyberpunk and it works perfectly? Top.
Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 3? Tony Hawk.
Nah, Tony Hawk.
Okay, well, wait. What if it was Super Mario Brothers 3 versus Tony Hawk?
I'm still going to have to give it to Tony Hawk.
Wow.
But it's going to be tough. It's going to be close. You got to give it to Tony Hawk, though.
Okay. I don't even think
that's the only thing that could come close.
All right. Okay. All right. Drum roll, please. We gave Game of the Year 2020 to Ghost of Tsushima.
That is right. Unanimously. Dan was like, you need to play this game. I said, I know, I'll get to it. I own it. I bought it a little bit after it came out.
I told you throughout the whole summer. You better buy this before the end of the year so you can play it.
Yeah. I believe I got it. I think I got it in the Black Friday sales, maybe? No.
You got it before that.
I think I had it for a bit. Yeah, I had it for a bit. I never opened it. I'm just like, I know I'm going to need to dedicate some time to this. And I finally cracked it open, and you were right. The game was amazing. Everything about the game. Like, I couldn't find anything that I'm like, I don't really like this mechanic or this whatever. Like, everything just kind of hit. And everything had its own feel to it, right? You didn't have, like, a mini-map. You just had the wind. That was your guide, right? It was all themed appropriately. So it got me. I don't know what else to say.
And I like the little stories they spread out throughout the map, right? Like all the stories sort of connect along each other, kind of, right? And I would say the only weird thing, and I don't know if this is a negative, is I think I sort of hit those story beats, those side story beats, I should say, not the main story, out of sequence.
Oh, really?
Out of sequence, yeah. Yeah, because I just followed straight the main story path, and if I can do a side story just because it's on the way, then I'll do it, right? Just because I want to level up and get the practice doing the stance, and the stance is awesome. So I did that, but it was funny because I was like, oh, I think you're telling me something I didn't even do yet because I didn't even go to that part to even save those people.
You're technically doing them out of order.
I'm technically doing some of the side missions out of order, and I was like, oh, okay. So I thought that was the only thing that was kind of wonky, but it didn't take me out of the game because I still helped them in need of whatever they needed at the time, and I could have did without them mentioning something that I didn't do yet. But I like the story.
I'm surprised they didn't think about that and kind of parse it out in the right way. But
I know you haven't beaten it yet. But at the end, I love they give you a choice. The thing that we didn't get from The Last of Us Part 2, which is the one thing that I thought The Last of Us Part 2 needed, right? To put the cherry on top of it, giving you a choice of what you wanted to do. And I don't know if that's because they have plans for The Last of Us Part 3 where they didn't want to give you a choice because they needed this. They needed some things that happen in here to have The Last of Us Part 3. I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. But Ghost of Tsushima, brand new IP.
Yeah.
Right. The first, there was like one of the two big IPs this generation for PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Got delayed, mostly because of The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
And have nothing but good things to say about it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
it's crazy.
So Dave, as we always try to start the show, but epically fail, and this is our first epically fail in 2021. What have you been playing?
Well, yeah. Well, before we do that, I just want to circle back on the game of the year, because I did want to give some special love to Animal Crossing: New Horizons, because as shitty as this game was, as shitty as this game, shitty as this year was, Animal Crossing was the game that brought everybody together without. Everyone could be at home and be safe and play online, and it was just a good feel-good game where you could build your town and invite your friends over, right? So it's maybe not necessarily the best game of the year, but it definitely deserves some praise.
You want to say it's the best game on the Switch, best 2020 Switch game?
I think it 100% wins best Switch game 2020 for sure.
I wouldn't disagree. I would say Hyrule Warriors is right below that. I would give the notch. I would give the inch to Animal Crossing as well. Well, on that same note, I want to give some love to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay. I've been playing that this past week, and it finally came. I ordered it like 2 weeks ago, and it finally came. This game, not what I expected. I got to be honest. And maybe it's in a good. I had low expectations. I like it that it gives you little things to do. You in and you're out, right? Here's your little story beat it. You can roam or you can go. I like the set piece too, right? I like the setting. I already see where the twist is coming, or I think there's going to be a twist sort of in the story. I like the mechanics are good, and I think these Assassin's Creed games really hit me with mechanics and set piece. I was, for some weird reason, not into Rome as much as I thought I would be. Right, I was really into Egypt. Odyssey didn't do it for me. The characters, the story, the set piece just didn't do it for me. Origins, I loved Origins. I would say Origins would be my favorite Assassin's Creed game until Valhalla, because Valhalla, I'm going to keep playing.
Setting is like big, man. That's part of the reason why I loved all the Ezio games. Right, it was just like. It was a good setting. It was great voice acting, really good art direction. But I know it's not for everybody,
I didn't. My only issue, I had low expectations because I think we made fun of this game throughout the year. It was like, this isn't really an Assassin's Creed game. This is Vikings. Vikings aren't. You never heard of a Viking assassin, right? Like sneaking around, you would think more of brute force.
That's exactly what they are. This is not a it's very incongruous.
So I like the way they implemented that. Kind of, like you are the guy with the axe that's going in and you want to fight everybody. And I don't know if there are certain missions where you have to sneak around. I'm sure there are. I haven't hit those beats yet, because most missions I just go in. I go in with my axe swinging.
The anti-assassin.
Yeah, because I'm not into stealth. But I will say, I think I caught a little bit of I don't know if this is a glitch. It's like one of these early on in the game. I have to take down this little fort, and everybody see it. I tried to sneak, and everybody saw me. So I climbed up the ladder up to like the top where the watchtower is, and I waited for everyone to come, and I just swing with my axe, and they all fall down and keep coming back up. And one guy, he fell down but didn't fall down. He sort of stayed in the sky, and I guess he was dead. So I thought I was like, I wanted to take a picture of it and post it on Instagram. I didn't get a chance to do it. So definitely want to give love to Animal Crossing. Want to put that back in and play it. I've given love to Animal. I'm going to keep playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but this is the new Dave. This is New Year's. Okay, this is a new year. What does everybody do in January? right? I mean, what should you buy stock in December for January, February?
Blink Fitness, is that what you're telling me? You gotta buy in the gym companies.
Gotta get into the gym companies, right? The memberships skyrocket in January.
Right,
yeah,
right.
And then they fall off around February, March.
That's exactly right.
Fall off.
That's exactly right.
People have their New Year's resolutions. They want to get in shape. So I thought, in that essence, because some gyms aren't open, some gyms, even if they are open, some people don't want to go to the gym. So with that said, I bought Ring Fit Adventure for the Switch.
And you found a copy. Nice.
Yes, well, everybody has it. Listen, Best Buy, Target, Amazon.
Is that true?
Yeah. I saw it. I keep seeing it everywhere, and I just didn't buy it.
Okay.
I bought it. I bought it over the weekend for New Year's, and I said, "I'm gonna play this. This is gonna be funny."
All right. Let's see how long that lasts. Let's see how long you keep up with the exercise.
My membership is gonna go down to Ring Fit Adventure. Listen, it's challenging, and it really you really feel it. And they have you doing some twists and turns, and it's the most expensive. Listen, the Labo kit's most expensive cardboard I ever bought. This is the most expensive rubber I've ever bought. So, and I'm trust me, I'm putting work in. My only issue, or my worry, I should say, concern, is will the rubber like snap or get flimsy over time of using it? Do I have to buy another one?
I mean, it's definitely going to wear, but I don't know what the lifespan of a Ring Fit is. So you may
they make you they really make you like push in and pull it, like you beating the crap out of this rubber.
Sure. Well, I mean, it has to be multi-purpose for like kids and adults, right? So it has to be stress tested some way. But I think you may need to buy another one and keep it sealed in the box, just to be safe.
Maybe I'll do that. So you're right. All right. So what have you been playing, Dave?
Oh, well, I had a very long Christmas vacation, which was very nice. It's one of the perks of my company, which I love. So, I go back to work tomorrow, but I put in the work in Black Ops Cold War. I was doing the multiplayer, man. And I got
nice.
I got to, in just a couple of days, I got to level 52 in the multiplayer ranks. So, I'm climbing, baby. And I'm loving it. I'm doing the 3v3s, which...
Are you trying to go pro on me? Are you trying to go pro on me,
I'm trying to go 360 no-scope, baby.
Okay.
Boo! Yeah, no. I mean, I'm okay. I'm pretty good. You know, I hang in there. You know, my KD ratio is always above 1. It's usually 1.15 or 1.75 to 1. So I get close to 2 kills for every 1 death. Right, which is pretty good, I think. Yeah, they only have like they're small maps. It's the only game mode I think that has these 4 maps in it, and I love them. They're nice and they're small. One's like a game show set from the 1980s, which is like my favorite, and it's just called Game Show. And you're just running around back set and running around the front of the stage, and they have a big blue car that's spinning around that you can kind of like duck behind and hide. It's too good. It's too good. So I've been playing that. Still trying to wrap up the Final Fantasy IX. Both of those are on the Series X, by the way. So my Xbox is getting some work, and playing Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch. Almost done with that game. And
are you gonna do the Luigi part?
I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to do the Luigi part. I think,
which is much tougher.
I can't leave his little bro out, or big bro. I don't even know who's older.
I think Luigi is older.
Is he? Okay.
I think
Luigi's definitely taller.
No. Luigi's younger. Luigi's younger. He's the younger brother. Mario's the older brother.
There we go.
Which is weird that they still have the last name Mario.
I know. Well, that's canon now. It's canon.
That
is
weird.
Canon. And finally, I finally got to play Among Us on the PC, which is a crazy trip of a game. And it took people a while to catch on to this game. Nobody really paid it any mind. It was out for 2 years. It was not doing well. It had a small user base. And then somehow, some way, I think some people found it, and it just kind of blew up on Twitch. It blew up on YouTube, right? Everyone was streaming it. It was like the hotness for a minute. And
every developer's dream, right? Like, you have a game, you've put all this work into it, you have like maybe 2 or 3 years to buckle down and get the mechanics right, get the gameplay right, and then all of a sudden it blows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's
the opposite of Cyberpunk.
I know. It came out the gate, and then everyone's just like, no. It's crazy. It's so simple. It's just an imposter game, right? You have to figure out who the killer is, right? And basically, if you're the killer, you have to kill in silence. You got to kill when no one else is around. So you kind of trap people and corner people, and then shank them, and then you got to go hide and hang out, and there's not a lot to it, but then there is, because it all comes down to the deception. When you have the boardroom meeting and you're like, all right, I found a body, who killed him, all right? And everyone's kind of trying to plead their case why it's not me, all right? So, it's good stuff.
Okay, I've never like had any interest in trying that. I'd rather try Fortnite than anything, because you really do need to get a team of people together to play Among Us, right?
Yeah, you need to have a lot, otherwise it doesn't really work. Like, you can play it with 4 people, but it's very easy to figure out the killer, right? Because there's one of 4 people who are the killer. So as soon as that first body goes down, it's like, well, yeah.
I understand.
But
well, Dave, I have my first gamer grief of 2021.
Oh,
all right, and I hate to do this, but it's GameStop. I don't want GameStop to go anywhere.
You hate to do it? Why? Come on, call them out.
I hate to do it because they've been doing so well. At least to me, they've been doing so well.
Have they? Okay.
Well, in my experience with them, they were doing well.
Okay.
And I'm still, it's just I'm still waiting for them to redesign this store because this stores look so old. They've
definitely been restructuring the walls, at least, and getting rid of a lot of the Funko crap and whatever, and Nintendo, PlayStation, Sony.
They need to just tear down these walls and make it a little bit more modern. Again, the Apple, Microsoft store type of look, the simplistic thing with maybe the games with a different type of shelf, right? The make everything look uniformed and a little bit more modern, not so old. But that's a discussion for another day. My gamer grief is I bought Resident Evil 3 and Star Wars Squadron on Cyber Monday. They were on sale, like both $15 a piece. I still haven't gotten them, okay? And it said I would get it before Christmas, right? So I had to call GameStop and be like, my kids are very upset because I bought this for Christmas. And I'm like...
Wait. What kids?
Listen, they don't need to know that, okay?
I don't know how the kids factor in no matter what, though. You have product that you don't have yet. Why do your fake imaginary kids have to do with anything?
It just brings to the sob story, okay?
Oh, you think they're gonna be like, oh, we really have to get these games out?
Yeah. You gotta set the mood. You gotta set the mood. It works.
Wow.
You gotta learn how to set the mood, okay?
It's the equivalent of lighting candles when you have a girl over. Listen, I got kids and they need their Christmas presents.
Got kids. So yeah, they were actually shipped January 1st. He looked and he said, "Sir, I'm so sorry about your kids. I'm sorry, disappointed. It just got shipped yesterday." Why would I think to look on New Year's Day to see if it was shipped, right?
Yeah, right.
Since November, the last week of November, all in December, it was waiting for pickup. So my thought was maybe this fell off the truck or something, like it is waiting for pickup. So it didn't get scanned at UPS. Mm-hmm. I said, I'll wait. And the delivery date kept moving back. So at that point I said, the Christmas week, I said, I'm not going to call because it's not going to make any sense. I'm not going to get it. So I'll wait till after Christmas, and work kind of got in the way, so I didn't get a chance to do it until the day after New Year's. Mm-hmm. But I did tell you that part. What I didn't tell you was I got a 10% off coupon because of my trouble. So the kids worked. The kids worked. Okay. When in doubt, just say they got some disappointed kids because of his service.
Did you
get 10% off coupon?
Did you give them names? Did you go that far? Did you give them a little bit of a backstory?
They don't need to know that my kids.
Oh, I would have done that. I would have
confidential.
If I'm gonna make up fake kids, I'm gonna be like, look, my kids Lucy and Johnny. All right, they really wanted these Xbox One and PlayStation 4 games, and they're not gonna get them for Christmas. Well, Timmy just turned 5, and he loves the Xbox. I would have went deep.
I think your name is unrealistic. I would
what?
Listen. I would have like listen.
Lucy?
Listen.
Lucy? This guy gonna call foul because I made up a name like Lucy?
Yeah, he's gonna say nobody named their kid Lucy since the 1930s. Okay.
What?
All right. I'd be like, listen, my kid Charlemagne Johnson.
Right.
In Victoria. I would give him video.
Wait. Is Johnson his middle name? Is that what we're saying here?
I would have gave
Johnson Robinson.
I would have gave him video game names. He probably wouldn't have known the difference.
Oh my god, my son Kratos, and my other son Atreus.
Atreus Rotino.
There you go. Oh god, it's got a nice ring to it.
Got a little bit of a ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's being shipped. I'm still not going to get it for another week because it just got shipped. So listen, there's delays and then there's like, you forgot to send this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I ordered stuff from GameStop Black Friday and I ordered stuff right after that. And I got it. It was a little bit delayed, but I still got it within 2 weeks. This has been like a month. Okay. So shame on you, GameStop. I think they just sort of lost my order. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. All
right. So why don't we take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at Generation 8. And we're back. All right. Let's take a look back at Generation 8. The generation that was the last, 8 years, right?
Sure.
Lasted 8 years.
2012 to 2020, I guess, would constitute. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, so we're going to go through the Wii U, which jump started Generation 8, PS4, and the Xbox One. We will not talk about the Switch just because.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
Places I researched that have Switch as the kickoff to Generation 9, right? And to be fair, in recent interviews in the last couple of weeks, Nintendo, people from Nintendo, high-level executives, like Bowser did an interview the other day. Said that they're at the sort of the midway point for this generation. So if this generation has another 4 or 5 years, well, the Switch has another 4 or 5 years, right? Then it's safe to say that it's Generation 9. It's Generation 9.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a lot easier to kind of break it up. Here's the consoles from the big three, right? Everyone gets one, right? And then, when this like comes around again, we can do the Series X, the PS5, and the Nintendo Switch.
Well, that or there's that interview was a red herring, and they put out the Switch Pro, which is like super powerful. Not even really, it's all different innards, and it's like to compete with the PS5. And then we got to say, maybe the regular Switch was Generation 8.
Well,
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the Wii U. We got the Wii U came out November 18th, 2012. I got to be honest, I was hyped because I was really getting back into gaming, and I was super hyped for the Wii U, just because it was sort of like my first console. Now that I'm back into gaming,
Okay.
and I remember some one of my coworkers at my old job. He was like, "The Wii U sucks."
Yeah.
We had just seen it at E3, and I was like, "Yo, did you see the Wii U, the new Nintendo system?" And he's like, "Ah, it sucked." And I was like, "No, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be like awesome. It's gonna be awesome. It's just gonna be just like the Wii." I was so excited for it. I got it at a PC Richards. I never.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I bought it at a PC Richards, and I walked home in the cold because I forgot my Metro card. Mm-hmm. I walked home in the cold with this in my hand, and you know what? I got to be honest. I think the Wii U is underrated.
I would agree. Although the library is a little rough, especially if you're talking about third party stuff. Third party stuff. But,
all right, but I mean, true. I mean, I get what you're saying, but they supported the Wii U in the beginning. I mean, okay. I mean,
they sure did. Look
at some of the launch. Look at some of the launch games, right? And this comes courtesy of TechCrunch, TechCrunch.com. I got this. They had a whole article back in like 2012, September 2012, as far as launch games. I'm not gonna go through every single game, but you got Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, right? Like, so you had a Batman game. You had your open world Batman game that you could play on here. You had a Zombie U, right, which was a really good game that got that was highly rated, and that was from Ubisoft. They supported it. Rabbids Land. Mm-hmm. Don't know. I haven't played it. I do own it. Don't know if that's like a good game necessarily. Yeah,
it's a fun little mini game. Yeah, mini game collection, I guess. Yeah.
And look, Just Dance 4, right? Mm-hmm. So they're getting supported. Assassin's Creed 3. Ubisoft always like they like to jump in.
They're huge. Yeah.
On certain things.
Same on the Wii too. They were a big proponent of the Wii.
Nintendo Land, that was the first party. That was sort of their Wii Sports at the time. Mm-hmm. I bought that. I did buy that when I bought my Wii U. Mm-hmm. Ninja Gaiden Razor's Edge.
Right, that was part 3. Yeah,
that was part 3. Not the
special edition.
Not the best game, right? Not the best game, but again, third parties are supporting it. Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Yeah, surprisingly, with special Nintendo costumes for the characters, which was kind of cool.
And look, Activision Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Yeah,
which I do have. I have that. And Epic Mickey 2: The Power of 2 came out on this. So it was supported by third parties, and Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, I think, are really good on the Wii U. I actually I was thinking about doing that as one of the games I want to play for Saturday morning retro shows. Mm-hmm. So Darksiders 2 also came out.
Right. Yeah, it had a pretty extensive launch lineup, to be honest. It's like 20 games at least. And some of these are like good games that are worth getting, not just like, I'm going to get this game because it's the only thing that's available and I need something to play. And the other thing I'll say about it too is that it was really cool that you could watch TV and play on your screen if you wanted to, right? You could do that kind of pseudo portable mode.
Well, I'm going to touch
kind of cool.
I'm going to touch on that in a second. I just want to, it did launch it was the first system since the N64 to launch with the Mario game. Mm-hmm. Right? The Wii didn't launch with a Mario game. Not that I can recall. The GameCube definitely didn't launch with a Mario game.
It launched with a Luigi game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it came. I mean, you're playing New Super Mario's Wii U, but New Super Mario's U came out was the launch game, so it was the big, back to just basic Mario platforming launch with the system. So
right.
And listen, I played the heck out of that game. I love that game. Yeah. The Luigi one, because it was the year of the Luigi. I think the next year.
Yep.
Or the year of the Luigi. The Luigi one, pretty difficult because you get like 100. You get like 100 seconds in every level, and you got to beat it. So yeah. So I think it's underrated. I love the part where you could all the YouTube videos where you could be in the bathroom sitting on the toilet and still be playing your Wii U, right, and the gamepad. So that was pretty cool. Not going to front. I definitely did that a few times or a lot. The thing that really like, I think tripped up Nintendo and the Wii U is the marketing, right? Because a lot of casual people didn't know it was a new system. They just thought it was an add-on for the Wii. Well, I don't want to jump into that because that's been talked about like to death a million times everywhere else all over YouTube.
I mean, it's legit terrible marketing. Like, why add a U to it? You know,
because
Wii, and then the Wii U.
Because it's the Wii and it's you. It's for you because you have the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah, but it caused confusion so much among, and even their press conference with their like E3 press conference about it did not sell it appropriately.
No,
it was like, look, here's a gamepad, and that's all they talked about was the gamepad. It's like, wait, ugh, terrible.
I think almost every game that was exclusive to the Wii got a port. I mean, the exclusive to the Wii U got a port to the Switch.
Right.
With the exception of Splatoon, they got a sequel on the Switch, right?
Right.
But the original was kind of bare bones, but really good. And I'll talk about that in a second. It was, listen, it was supported. It had good games. It just didn't have the install base. And it didn't, I mean, look, Mario Kart 8, and they came out with heavy hitters a couple of years later, right? You got Mario Kart.
Yep.
And you got Smash Brothers.
That's right.
Both did really well in the system, but other than that, not enough third party supported it after its launch to sustain it. And I'll be honest, I wish it was sustained for at least 2 to 3 more years, and the Switch would have came out like last year, like a year before the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, right? Like,
yeah.
I kind of wish that happened personally. And I think that could have happened if they had some more heavy hitters, but they pivoted really quickly. I mean, the Switch.
Well, that's exactly why they just didn't have any. They didn't have a bunch of people buying the system, and they're like, we can't fix it. We have to improve upon it, and that's what the Switch was. Like, if you look at them side by side, the Switch and the Wii U share a lot in common, and you can see the general progression. You know, because you have the gamepad, which turned into the whole entire console, right? So you took everything out of the base and you put it in this handheld thing, and the base is really just a power source and a connection to the TV, and you get a resolution bump out of it, right? That's the only thing that the dock really gives you. And like the Wii U was a giant gamepad, right? They just smoothed it down and polished the edges and, you know, made the little ends break off so you could have separate controllers, which I thought was ingenious on the Switch. So it was the evolution. Like, they had to put the Wii U out first to get to the Switch.
I know.
And they did.
I just wish they would. I just wish they could have sustained the Wii U for at least 2-3 more years. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
if they would have did that, they would have hung in there. We wouldn't have any questions about, you know, Generation 9. When did it start? Is the Switch? We wouldn't have any more questions. Just 2 more years. Just 2 more years. Just 2, not even 3. Just 2 more years. Just put out the Switch in 2019. That's it. Just 2 more years. With that said, Dave, give me your top 3 Wii U games.
Oh, you want me to go first? All right. So this was tough because there wasn't a lot of games that I was like, yeah, these, right? Because, and even, well, all the ones that I picked have been ported to the Switch. So it's just, you know, it's not a fault of the games by any means. The games are great. It was just on a system that didn't have the install base. So they're like, let's just put them out again because people will play them. They are very good games. And that's Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, right? It's Mario Kart 8, and it's Zelda Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. They're all amazing games. So those are my 3.
I went back and forth picking my games, and I got to give some honorable mentions to Wonderful 101, which just got ported to the Switch.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I really like playing that game on the Wii U. I definitely like New Super Mario Brothers Wii U because I love platforming, and you know, like that's I know the whole open world Mario Odyssey, Mario 64, people are into that more. But at its core, I'm more of a platformer, traditional side-scrolling platformer guy. So I love that game, the new Super Mario's Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Even Super Mario 3D, right? 3D World and 3D Land for the DS, 3DS. Awesome game. Definitely like that. So we had 2 mainline Mario games on the Wii U, which was
right. That's right.
Totally forgot about that. But I got to give it to my 3. One, Splatoon.
Sure.
Splatoon, new IP for the Switch. It launched what would is huge. Splatoon is huge in Japan. Like, people love that game, and it started out as a Mario game. It was going to be a Mario game with shooting, and they switched it up and put new characters in it.
Right.
So I can't.
They made a whole new franchise out of it.
Wait until Splatoon 3 comes out. I guarantee you Mario is going to be in it, or maybe
I doubt it. No, I think it's its own thing.
Maybe they put maybe they won't just put Mario. Maybe they put like other characters in it, right? Mario, Samus, Donkey Kong, right?
So you think it's going to be like a
Splatoon All Stars? There you go.
Think it's going to be like a Smash Brothers, but for the FPS genre?
Yes.
I mean, it could be. It could be.
I can see that happening. But it launched on the Wii U, right?
Right.
Start of a franchise. I gotta agree with you. Number 2, Mario Kart 8. I mean, I played the heck out of this. I love Mario Kart 8. The thing about Mario Kart 8 that I love mostly more than all than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is when you're playing Mario Kart 8, you can when you get a shell, you can hold the shell. Like, you can put it, like, you can hold a button, like you're gonna shoot it, hold it, and then hit the question mark and get another. You can get another. You can equip another weapon. Love that. Hate that they took that in other Mario Kart games. That should be a mainstay, right? That's sort of a hack, right? Where you can have 2 items at once, sort of.
Right.
So, love that in Mario Kart 8. Played the heck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And come on, any top list of Wii U games, you're disqualified if Zelda Breath of the Wild is not number 1.
I mean,
it is a Wii U game that was ported to the Switch.
That's right. Because the Switch wasn't going to have anything, so they're like, well, let's just make an enhanced version for the Switch, which was a good move.
All right, let's shift gears to PlayStation 4. Okay, PlayStation 4 was released November 15th, 2013. Almost exactly a year, after the Wii U. I was super hyped for this. Okay, like everyone was super hyped for this, especially after the E3, where Sony just sort of gave it to Xbox, because the Xbox E3 show was just like atrocious. Always online. You can't share. You can't. The games. Once you buy it, that's it. You couldn't sell it on the.
Yeah.
It was a disaster, and the price was a disaster as well.
It was a complete role reversal from the previous generation, right? PS3 had a terrible press conference, and then Xbox this last generation. You're right, with Don Matrick coming out there and saying like just all sorts of nonsense, and $500. Oof, yeah.
Wait. Well, $500 at that time, right? Like, we're talking about like 7 years ago now. $500 for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's right. Like, yeah, I can see that.
Right.
But I think the most glaring thing, and I thought this was like a smack in the face to Xbox gamers, was, listen, if you don't want your games to be online and you want to do used games, we have a system for you if you don't have the internet. It's called the 360.
Yeah.
Imagine if Phil Spencer came out today and said, listen, I know you can't buy an Xbox Series X, and you don't fast resume and 4K gaming. If you don't have a 4K TV and fast resume, we have a system for you. It's called the Xbox One. It's just that wouldn't go well.
No, it would not. No, it would not. Oh.
So, Sony in retrospect, it had a pretty good launch, right? I mean, you had Angry Birds Star Wars. I had to say that. Come on.
There you go.
I had to
say that. Crown jewel right
there.
Angry Birds Star Wars. Come on now.
At this point, I think the game came out on the Wii U as well, that's where I own it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, 4. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Mm-hmm. Best one in the series, in my opinion.
I like Origins better, but that's just me.
All right.
Battlefield 4, right? Call of Duty Ghost, underrated. I don't care what anybody says. You can at me at Rated G for Gamers on Twitter. I don't care. I don't give a shit what you say. Call of Duty Ghost was pretty damn good.
Yeah, but they never made they've never made a true sequel to Ghosts.
They haven't yet, but they will eventually. And listen, Injustice: Gods Among Us, right? Like the Ultimate Edition. And come on, what's a launch game without Just Dance? Just Dance.
There you go. You gotta have it.
Gotta have a Just Dance. Killzone Shadowfall. We had another Killzone game. Finally, it's been a while. It was a while since we saw Killzone. And Killzone, good game, still holds up and utilized the gamepad.
Yeah, fantastic graphics. Well, what was the gamepad integration? I forget.
Menu, all the menu stuff. So if you wanted to like use this weapon, go to here. It was all swipe left, swipe right, swipe up.
Yeah.
I mean, a touchpad, that gamepad, the touchpad. We got a brand new franchise, right? One of the 3 top franchises this generation, or just that generation. We got Knack. Knack was a launch title.
I don't know if it's the top 3, but it's a franchise of 2 games.
It's a franchise. It is a franchise. I got a sequel.
I'm not saying it's not, but I wouldn't call it top 3.
3. All right. Well, I think you underrate Knack because you haven't played it. I think it's a pretty good platformer.
Trust me, I've seen enough playthrough of it, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this is a game."
It's a video game, pretty good video game. Just for that, I'm playing Knack 2 this week. I'm gonna pop in Knack 2.
By all means, Dan, live your best life. All right, live your best life. I will never tell you that you shouldn't play a particular game.
The best. This was the best game at launch, and that was a Resogun, and that was digital only. Resogun, a shoot 'em up, a side-scrolling shoot 'em up.
You were high on this.
I was high on that. That game was awesome. Still is. Needs a physical release. Are you listening to me? Needs a physical release. It's stuck digital.
Sure does.
Digitally. And in Warframe, right, which was a free to play game.
Yep.
So, this generation for Sony was definitely damn good. I mean, we got franchises like Knack. We got new franchises like Horizon Zero Dawn. We got Ghost of Tsushima, right? So those are brand new franchises. It only had one Gran Turismo game, right? And it wasn't a mainline game either,
right?
Which was kind of weird.
Gran Turismo Sport, right? That was the one.
Yeah. This was a generation for experimentation, right? Doing something different, doing something new with peripherals, right? Sony put out, the PSVR headset. We both were all in. We're early adopters. You liked it a little bit more than me.
We were early adopters. You barely played it.
Yes. I will readily admit that. But I still have it hooked up. And Moss and Astrobot more so than Moss, amazing. Must play. Can't say it enough.
That's pretty solid. Still to this day. Now, technically, Nintendo has a peripheral, a Labo peripheral that will do some VR stuff, but it's not really meant for long-term play. So Sony really is the only game in town who's like doing that.
Well, I mean, again, it sort of gave the PlayStation 4 an identity, right? Because if you want to play it mobile on the go, I should say on the go, not mobile. If you want to play it on the go, you buy it on the Switch. If you Xbox, which we'll talk about in a minute, if you want to play it at its highest, at the highest level, right, graphically, performance-wise, you play it on the most powerful console, right? At the time, at least, you played on the Xbox One X. But if you want to have a VR option, if it has VR support, you play it on Sony, right? It's gonna play really good. It's still gonna play really good. Can't play it mobily, unfortunately, but you can play it on your Vita if you have one. Remote play, kinda. So you can play it mobily. You just can't play it on the go too far away, technically.
Right, it's got to be on the same Wi-Fi network.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You know, and listen, PSVR was like the best-selling VR headset, right? Because it's more accessible than any other VR headset because you have all you need. You don't need a high-powered PC or anything like that. All you need is a console. And then they put out, this is the generation of the mid-generation refresh, right? Where we got the PS4 Pro, where we had to shell out another $300-$400 to get that system. And we did.
We both did for both systems.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta be, this was an interesting generation for Sony. I'm not gonna lie. But they started with the underdog as an underdog and sort of, overcame all odds and obstacles and regained the crown. And they sold over 100 million PS4s to date, right? Like it's only second to the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, Sony definitely won this generation, especially if we're not counting the Switch in this mix. Microsoft didn't have the first party exclusives like Sony did, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great games that never got ported to Xbox because they were either made in house or they're third party developers that kind of struck a deal with Sony, and they're the only way to play them on the console, at least, is on like a PS4.
I just want to we're going to get into our top 3 games for the PS4, right? But I just want to give a notable mention, a good shout out to a franchise that's not getting enough love, and that's Spider-Man. Okay, Marvel Spider-Man. Because
you don't think it's getting its due?
I don't think it's getting its due. It came out in a stacked year, right?
Sure.
A lot of games came out in 2018. Sure. And if it came out in 2019, it would have been Game of the Year. Hands down, would have been Game
maybe.
Of the Year. If it just waited just a little bit longer, just 6 more months, right? If they just put it on a back burner for 6 more months, it would have won Game of the Year.
I mean, everybody loves it, right? Nobody's hating on it. Everybody's playing it.
No one's hating on it. I just don't think I don't think it's getting its just due. That's just my opinion.
The problem is you had God of War and Red Dead come out right around that time as well, right? And it's like, well, what are you going to do? They're all amazing games.
I know. Well, a lot of games came out that year that sort of it got lost in the shuffle. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to give it its just due.
Okay.
But let's get into our top 3 PS4 exclusives. Number 3 for me was Ghost of Tsushima, which was our Game of the Year 2020. We've already talked about it. I love this. I love the fact that you can just go with the wind to find where you need to go. I love the side stories, even though I can complete them in any order, apparently. Mm-hmm. I love the main story, which was cool. And I tried to go stealth, but you know what? Sometimes I just couldn't do it, and I just went in sword, with my samurai sword. And I gotta be. It was a breath of fresh air for me. I loved Ghost of Tsushima so much. I just can't. It came out of nowhere. It was a brand new IP, and it's going to be a franchise that's going to keep going on and on, throughout different PlayStation life cycles. Hopefully, mm-hmm. Uncharted 4, definitely, got to be my number 2. This was the swan song, maybe, for Nathan Drake, right? It was in a culmination of all. I'm gonna say the other 4 games because I'm gonna put the Vita game in that as well, mm-hmm. because it definitely had, especially early on, it sort of had a callback to all 3 games of PS3 and the Vita game, right? So Nathan Drake has a brother, and come on, we got to play Crash Bandicoot in the middle of the game.
Right. That's pretty awesome.
So I can't wait. And we're going to get a movie. Tom Holland is playing young Nathan Drake.
That's right.
Photos are being leaked out now. He looks good. I just don't know about him being young Nathan Drake.
Oh my God. This guy. I know how much you love Uncharted.
It's my favorite series.
I know.
It's my favorite series of all time.
And look, if they were doing a Final Fantasy live action movie, I would be probably just as critical, if not more critical over it. So I understand, but have faith in the director, Dan.
The shooter mechanics still a little bit more, much to be desired, but it's, platforming, puzzle solving, storytelling, visuals. It's still a beautiful game. Naughty Dog's top franchise, right?
Yeah.
Don't know if they're gonna. I know they're gonna make another Uncharted game. Don't know if Naughty Dog is gonna be the one making it. So let's see.
Mm-hmm.
But number one, I got to give it to God of War. I think it's the best game.
That was our game of the year 2018.
I think it's the best game for the PS4, and it's the best. It's the best game. It was a reboot of a franchise that desperately needed one, right? And when we found out God of War was being rebooted, it was like everyone was skeptical because Kratos was just a one-dimensional character. But they gave him so many different elements in this game. So many different twists.
Made him human. He wasn't just a killing machine.
He wasn't just a killing machine. That ending, man. I can't wait to play God of War Ragnarok, which I don't believe is coming out in 2021. I don't care what they say. This game's going to be delayed until 2022.
Probably, yeah.
I guarantee they're going to wait. They're going to wait. This is going to be a spring 2022 release.
Right. Yeah, I also love this son, too, Atreus, which, I mean, that can make or break your game, right? When you have a companion with you. He was perfect. He was perfect in the narrative, in the gameplay elements, right? How he could pick up items around and hand them to you, and you could kind of use him for combos and help him to get up to different areas, and how Kratos was like teaching him how to be like a brave warrior. Like, oh my God, it was perfect.
My only thing overall with this generation is we don't get a free game for PlayStation VR with PlayStation Plus. That's my only thing. We need a PlayStation VR game. It should be one PS4. It should be until PS5s actually are in the hands of actual people and not scalpers.
Mm-hmm.
You could keep 2 PS4 games and 1 PSVR game, or a game that has PSVR support needs to be free. Especially now that they stopped giving PS3 games and PS Vita games.
Right. What's going to fill that void? And if you're adding it to the value of PS Plus, right, it's going to incentivize people to buy headsets, right? Because it'll also incentivize people who have headsets to get the PlayStation Plus. So it's all symbiotic, right? It all kind of works together. And there's certainly a big enough library where you can now give away PSVR games, right?
And remember, all you got to do the first Tuesday of the month, all you got to do is go on PS Plus, put it in your sort of PS Plus games. You don't have to download it right away. You just put it in your list of games, right? You add it to the list of games. You add it to your library, and then you forget about it, and you can add an infinite amount of games. And once you have a bunch of VR games, then it's time for you to get a PSVR. It's just a win-win and get people, adopted and into VR. It's just a win-win. That's just my opinion. But Dave, what are your top 3 PS4 games?
Well, surprise, surprise, but there's going to be a little bit of overlap here because not to say that there was a lack of AAA amazing 10 out of 10 games, because there was a ton. Your Horizon Zero Dawns, your aforementioned Uncharted games, right? The Spider-Man games, both of them, very high quality. But I'm going to have to give Ghost of Tsushima our game of the year as one of the best games on the damn system. I think we talked about that at length, so I'm not necessarily going to say anything more about it, but that's on my list. And I'm surprised you didn't put this on there, Dan. Another Naughty Dog classic, The Last of Us 2. Amazing story. Pulled at the heartstrings, right? Really kind of told a new interesting tale with characters that you love from the first game. That was the thing that really got me. And my final game is also God of War, right? It was beautiful. Everything about that game was just amazing. So good. Well, except for the crafting system. That can go to hell. But everything else was on point.
Well, I'll say this: the Last of Us Part 2 definitely made my top 5. Right, it didn't make my top 3. I don't think I would choose The Last of Us Part 2 over Ghosts, Uncharted, and God of War. Mm-hmm. And I feel like your list would be a little bit different if you actually had a chance to play and beat Uncharted 4, but you're still trying to go through all the games before you get to that. So I love The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not taking anything away from it. I would prefer Uncharted over The Last of Us.
Fair enough.
So that's it. So, all right. Lastly, let's talk about the Xbox One. All right. The Xbox One launched November 22nd, 2013. I was able to get one at launch, no issue. Couldn't get a PS4 at launch. I got it the first week of December, and I think I've told that story a million times, how I was on a train, hitting a tunnel, almost losing reception, got the Best Buy notification, went into the tunnel for 5 minutes, came out, and it was sold out, but I did manage to buy one. Had no issue buying an Xbox One beta machine, as I like to call it. It had the camera, it had the Kinect, which I miss because I thought I was a baller when I walk in the door and be like, Xbox on, and it would turn on my TV, my stereo, turn everything on. And who would forget the funny I think they were playing Call of Duty, and the guy, his name was Xbox turn off.
Yeah.
And the kid said Xbox off, and he realized what he said, and he was just like, no! And then cut off. Oh, man.
Classic. Come on. Classic.
It was classic. It was. But we've already talked about his disastrous E3, but they've made strides, right? They've come back. They've come back and did so much good, right? I mean, we got Game Pass, where all first-party games are free if you have Game Pass, because it's just going to be there day one.
Yep.
Game Pass has made a deal with, was it EA? Is EA sort of Game Pass subscription as well, right? Where you get all those EA games that they have, and I think you get like Disney Plus. Like I think you get like a month free of Disney Plus too.
Oh yeah,
which is not bad.
No, that's fantastic. Now you have Bethesda games in the mix, right? Can't forget that.
They purchased. I mean, Microsoft purchased ZeniMax, which is the parent company of Bethesda. So they've had a roller coaster generation. Needless to say, right? They came in with all the fanfare and just stunk up the joint at E3 and just never looked. Just have been looking up the whole time.
It was definitely a bad E3 presentation for Microsoft, but they went really hard on the Kinect in the household, right? It was the microphone, the camera, the speaker, all that, and all the things that they said that they were going to do with it. Everyone's like, wait a minute. No. It's this kind of always on, always like listening thing feels a little too big brotherish, right? They said, we can scan and see how many people are in the room. Oh, so you want to see if the license allows you to play this content or play this game with all these people in the room? Like, people started getting all these wild ideas about it, right? How the games were locked to your system, right? So it kind of like they were really talking about like the end of used games, and everybody rebelled, and they went back on all of that, right? They had to like backtrack on it and say, no, it's not going to necessarily do all that, but it still came with the Kinect, which nobody wanted. And they eventually relinquished the Kinect, right? Because that's why it was $500, because you had a $100 camera that was also included with it, and not a lot of great games for it, right? You had Just Dance, that was it. So rocky start, but I think they kind of made up ground. I think they made up ground in a way that Sony made up ground by the end of the 7th generation. Right?
Well, it's funny how everybody was up in arms at everything that Microsoft said at the E3 press conference, and look at us now, always online, right? Like we need the internet, digital games, right? It's not going to be any used game stores much longer when everything goes all digital.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, it still has a disk drive. You could still get, a $5 copy of Madden from like GameStop, and you can still play it for the moment.
For the moment.
Yeah.
Then we had the mid-generation refresh where it went from the not the most powerful system on the market to the most powerful system on the market with the Xbox One X.
One X, that's right.
All right. So, we both got the Scorpio edition, which is, I got to be honest, I love it when they lean into what the audience wants, right? Because it was called Scorpio for the longest, right?
Yep.
Project Scorpio, and we got the Scorpio edition. They actually,
Scorpio
we were like, you know what? We don't know what you're gonna call it, but you should call it Scorpio because that kind of sounds cool. So, I'm lucky that we both got that because that was awesome. I love the fact that we got that.
Yeah, I got that little special controller too. It says Project Scorpio on it.
Yeah. So, I want to say the one issue that we have with Xbox in this generation is not a lot of exclusives. Okay. And
yeah. That's a problem that they've technically rectified because they bought like 20 studios.
That's the problem that they rectified for Generation 9. It didn't help Generation 8.
Right. So we haven't seen any. We saw one game, I think, come out from one studio, which didn't really make a lot of fanfare. But they have the other 17, 18 studios, including Double Fine, right? The makers of Psychonauts. So that should be really awesome.
It's funny. Double Fine said that they're actually working on something else that is not a Microsoft IP. So it's like something brand new.
Sure.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that in the future.
All right.
But
they could only make Brutal Legend 2, and then I would be a happy camper. The game is great, man.
Would Jack Black? I mean, would Jack Black come back? Do you want him back?
Jack Black would 100% come back.
Do you want like a different character?
No, you got to have Jack Black. He was amazing. They actually designed the character for him to voice before they even got him, and they presented it to him, and he said yes. How can I not? Oh, it's amazing. Like they got Ozzy Osbourne to do voice acting, and he sounded great. Oh my God! Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
I know you are. All right, so let's get into like our top 3 games of the system.
This was definitely the toughest. This was the toughest to pick out games.
And then afterwards, we get into sort of like notable third-party games that came out. I definitely want to give a shout out to the Ori games, the 2 Ori games, which I just bought for the Switch, so they're no longer exclusive to the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely fantastic platformers. You know, I love my platformers. The second one, the puzzles are a little bit more tougher than the first one, but I would suggest you definitely pick up these games and play them. I think you would love to play them on the Switch. Even though you have nowhere to go anymore, because I know you used to play, you love playing your Switch games where you're going in a train going to work every day.
I know. I used to get a lot of good game time, and that's how I beat The Legend of Zelda. I was playing Breath of the Wild on the train on the way home.
Did you ever, as a side note, we're getting off topic, did you ever miss your stop playing Zelda?
I've missed my stop playing handhelds before, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're just in it. You're just in the middle of it, and you're like, oh, you missed the transfer or whatever it is. It's like, oh God.
All right. So with that said, my top 3 games is I got to start with Halo 5 Guardians. I know. People shit on this game a lot, but I was in for the hype. Master Chief versus
Spartan Locke. Yeah.
Master Chief versus Locke. I was certainly into that. I got the special edition. I got the damn statue. Wasn't a big Halo. I wasn't the biggest Halo fan. I mean, I loved Halo, the first 2 Halos on the original Xbox, and then I sort of fell off on 360. Wasn't really gaming at that time. Maybe that's why. Halo 5 was the first Halo I ever beat from start to finish. I'm like one mission out from beating the original Halo and Halo 2. I always get to the last beat and I just sort of fall off and do something else and never go back to it. Man. Just like Killzone Shadowfall, I'm on the last level and I just never went back.
You got to
just like the Breath of the Wild,
just like through.
Just like Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, I'm right there.
Well, you're consciously not playing that because you don't want to close out the experience, but
Yes, that is true.
You can still play it like your save game is still at the end of the game after you beat it.
It is.
Yeah.
But I know people didn't like the story. I thought the story was fine. My only issue was we didn't get that big versus that was advertised. All right. Without that, if you take that out the mix, I thought the story was okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil things. I mean, this game is like 5 years old.
It's a 5-year-old game. I think it's fine. Yeah.
Cortana goes batshit crazy and starts the future where the Terminators take over.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I want to see more of that in Halo Infinite. I want to see where they want to take it, and from that standpoint, where Halo Infinite. Right. We didn't see that in any of the trailers. We didn't hear anything about Cortana.
We didn't hear much about the story whatsoever. Honestly, it was really just a gameplay. Like, here's look, you can grapple and you can throw, these crazy new grenades, and it's like, oh, okay.
And I think if they got more into the story elements, I would be a little bit more hyped for Infinite. But
yeah, they will. Their next like trailer, I think, is going to have a little more about that stuff. Yeah.
So I thought Halo 5 was great, personally.
The multiplayer was amazing. Multiplayer was great.
Hype aside, people feel cheated and lied to. I thought Halo 5 was great.
Mm-hmm.
Next, a game that was underrated, definitely underrated, and we're probably not going to see a part 2. Well, probably won't see a part 2 on Xbox. It'd be interesting if we get a part 2 on PlayStation, and that is Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah, this was a near launch title, and it was amazing.
It came out spring of 2014. It was like 6 months after the system was launched. It was made by Insomniac.
That's right. That's right.
This put the groundwork for the Spider-Man games. I love the whole zombies all everywhere, and it didn't take itself too serious.
Right. Super bright and colorful.
Colorful. It was Tony Hawk meets Fortnite meets Left 4 Dead.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly right. Right. You're kind of grinding on all this stuff. With your shoes, I guess, right? You didn't really have like any sort of like blades or skateboard. You kind of just grind on stuff with your shoes, and you get all these crazy weapons to kill the zombies with.
And you know what I liked the most? This was the first game, if I remember this correctly. I think this is where we had the demo, and our demo transferred over to the real game. 'Cause I remember playing a demo before the game came out, and I was like, I got to play this.
Oh, maybe that's right. Yeah, maybe that's right.
Because I was like, this is awesome. I gotta play this game. The demo made me buy the game. Mm-hmm. So definitely was into this. And lastly, my number one game for the system is Gears of War 4. This is before they dropped Of War.
Right. It was just too long. It was too long.
Gears of War 4. This was the comeback. This was the start of the new trilogy. We got Marcus Phoenix. He's back in the trench, and he got his son, right? And I played the Gears games afterwards, and after they've been out, and I like Judgment, but I don't care. You can at me at Rage for Gamers. I don't care what you say. Right,
no, don't at us, because then I got to see it too, and I don't want to deal with it.
Yes, you can see it. I don't care. Judgment was damn good. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, of course you don't care. I care.
All right. Gears of War was coming. It was back. It was the hype for me. I loved it. I loved the Gears of War. I loved the sort of the mechanics of Gears. Only if I could put the mechanics of Gears in Uncharted, and then I would have the perfect game, right? Just combining it. Gears is my favorite franchise my favorite Xbox franchise. So I got to give it to Gears. I would give it to Gears 4. It was simple. It kept straight to it gave you nostalgia and introduced new things, right? So that's I would give it to Gears 4. So what about you? What about your top games?
All right. Well,
and don't say Titanfall. God damn it! I know Titanfall came out during this generation.
Titanfall was great. They were both great. Two better than one.
Yeah, but Titanfall 1 was exclusive to the Xbox, and you know what?
Yeah.
I had it, and I was disappointed because I found out it was a multiplayer game.
Oh well, yeah, and it really got hurt by the fact that it didn't have a single player campaign. It turns out people want that.
I know, and
the multiplayer wasn't strong enough to keep it up.
Because it came out only on the Xbox.
I know.
They would put it out on the PlayStation, it probably did a little bit better.
Yeah.
At the time.
So, my top three, right? And I'm surprised you didn't say this because you did mention Ori. You didn't mention the other indie darling, which was Cuphead.
Which is also out now on the Switch, so technically not exclusive.
Well, no, but I mean, it was for a very long time.
You could
only get it on Xbox, right? And it's not on PlayStation, but it is now on the Nintendo Switch as of last year, I think. So
correct.
I'm still going to give it to Cuphead because Microsoft essentially funded this, right? And MDHR put all their blood, sweat, and tears into this, and they took a long while to put this game out, and it shows. Because the only game with this kind of 1930s, 40s, Fleischer cartoon art style, right? It really looks like an old cartoon from back in the day, which is awesome. And it's a balls hard run and gun shooter, right? That's essentially what it is. It's kind of like Contra, just with a really unique art style.
It's harder than Contra.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's even harder than Contra. I'm sorry.
And my second pick is Gears 5, partially because I've been playing it so much. So I don't necessarily think that it innovated as much, but I do love the game. It is solid, and Microsoft has been supporting this game a lot to where they have more than double the amount of maps than what the game launched with, right? If you have the season pass, they are consistently updating this game, right? You can play as the New Day.
You can play as the Marcus Phoenix under the Batista skin, right? Batista is Marcus Phoenix.
You can play as Batista. Awesome. But Batista is his own multiplayer character, and then they have. I think you can play. Yeah, you can play as the skin in single player. They have a brand new single player DLC campaign, which is amazing. I beat that. I mean, they're really putting a lot of effort into this game. It's good stuff. And then my final pick, I would be remiss because it's my favorite franchise on Xbox, is Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh, I'm surprised you made this number one on your list.
Dude,
you were very, very upset with the story.
Well, the single player wasn't great, but the multiplayer was strong, so that's where a lot of time was spent. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully they rectify the story in 6. I think they're gonna. Because, they're going back to the drawing board, or they've been back to the drawing board, and they're kind of scrapping a bunch of stuff. So I have faith.
Okay. But let's talk about some of the third-party notable games that came out this generation. We already mentioned Zombie U. I think it needs another mention because it did come out eventually it did come out on Xbox One and PS4. But I think it was more innovative on the Wii U. I think that's where it belongs because it was in the name, Zombie U. It was just zombie on the other platforms. And it was made for when you have the gamepad, right? Because you have the gamepad to have 2 screens so you can see your inventory and can run it from zombies. I tried to play as much as I could, but I hate spooky games. So, it's not like it's more Resident Evil than it is. It's more Resident Evil 1-ish than it is as Resident Evil 6, which I would have preferred to have unlimited ammo, like just kill zombies, but that's just me. I'm going to talk about GTA 6 and Minecraft. Yes, I know these games also came out on the 7th generation, but we're 8 years in to Gen 8 and GTA 6. Oh, GTA 5, sorry.
GTA 6 isn't out yet, yeah.
Yeah, GTA 5. I got GTA 5 and Minecraft are still top 10, both on top 10 selling list of games every month. And you ask yourself, who in the hell doesn't have GTA 5 in Minecraft?
All the new kids getting into gaming. All the new kids who are now teenagers now.
They keep buying them. They just keep buying them.
Well, this is another testament to the developer supporting the game after launch, right? It's the same thing with Gears, right? And Minecraft too. They had a bunch of new content all the damn time. Fortnite, they had a bunch of new content all the damn time. GTA 5, they had content all the damn time to these games. And you get these like big grand heist missions for GTA 5. You get the casino that was being built in 5. It was like a coming soon thing, and they finally put the Diamond Casino up, which I thought was kind of cool in the online mode. So,
well, I'm glad you brought this up, but you said it. We also got to give Fortnite its love, its due. Mm-hmm. It came out during this generation. Yeah, I know it's on everything. You could probably play Fortnite on your phone, your console, and I'm sure they'll find a way you can play Fortnite on your Alexa, right? Like it's just Fortnite's everywhere. It's like the biggest thing. My 12-year-old little cousin would hand it to me, right? He doesn't even want me on his team in Fortnite. Like he's like team leader. Like Fortnite, all the kids love it. It's a phenomenon, right? And it made Epic Games what it is today, $1 billion. It made them a multi-billion-dollar company where they can go up against Steam. So that's crazy, and that was in this generation.
Okay. Right.
You mentioned it earlier, Red Dead Redemption 2, right? That was a huge game that came out. I loved it. You loved it a little bit more than me.
Well, yeah, I beat it. I beat the whole damn game, and it was a long single-player campaign. And you thought you were done with the game, and then they were like, nope, here's some more. I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean, everything about it was just beautiful. The visuals were beautiful. All the little things you can do in the game. There was like just all the neat little touches, right? When I was on my horse and he like pooped, I was like, what? Okay. Like, and it sounds like something really stupid. Like, why would you care about your horse pooping, right? But it's like, it adds to the ambiance of the, the Wild West when